Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Edinboro News. I'm Nico Gregory.
And I'm Cheyanne Nico, and here's your weekly news update. Former Edinboro University student Trey Gunter could face sitting in jail for decades due to a shooting off campus last November. Gunter was sentenced Tuesday morning, pleading guilty to third-degree murder and result of the deadly shooting of Tobiah Johnson. Hunter addressed the court saying, "I would like everyone to know I did kill my friend and I take full responsibility for my actions. This happened moments later before the judge told him he would spend more than a decade in prison." Gunter allegedly will spend between 15 and 40 years in jail and will also have to pay funeral costs and restitution.
Edinboro University alumni Sarah J. Glover was welcomed back to the university and discussed how digital platforms and social media have transformed journalism and altered the business model for news organizations. Glover talked about her career working at NBC as a social media editor. She discussed how important new technology is and why she decided to work in this field.
You know, ever since I was very small, I always wanted to do journalism. I took photography classes when I was in high school at Mercer's Preparatory School. I, bought my first camera when I was like 13 years old. I had a paper route. I saved up my money, and then I worked at Little Caesars Pizza and saved up my money for 6 months. So I always wanted to do journalism and media, and just having the experience as a teenager to take photography classes. And then when I applied to school for college, I was pretty much taken aback that I was actually really pretty good for my age at the time. So, you never really quite know. But then when you're competing against other kids as you're applying to college, and I got to Syracuse, and I already knew, all the photography basics. I knew how to do black and white photography and color processing, so I was kind of way ahead of the game. So at that point, I was like, I just need to keep going with this. I'm pretty good. So it ended up working out, and I just really encourage people, if you have an idea, something you want to do, you have a dream about what you want to pursue, you should just go for it, because you never know. You might, really be at the top of your class.
Want to hear more about what Sarah J. Glover had to say? Stay tuned to ETV as her panel will be aired on the station.
Edinboro University's Academic Success Center started offering its Spring 2016 workshop series on February 9th. The workshops will be offered every Tuesday at 3 p.m. until March 29th in room 201B at the Academic Success Center located on the second floor of the Barron Forest Library. Students will be educated on various techniques, emotional intelligence, and on-campus career opportunities. For more information about the spring workshops or the Academic Success Center, visit the Academic Success Center's webpage on edinboro.edu.
We will be right back after a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Before NAMI, I did not have many support systems. I felt very alone. Through NAMI, I earned a support system. I earned advocacy. I earned an organization that I could refer others to and advocate for mental illness with. And through NAMI, I feel that I can help stamp out stigma.
NAMI of Erie County. Find help. Find hope.
One thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
As reported during the first newscast of this semester, Edinboro University's online graduate programs were nationally ranked in a study done by U.S. News and World Report. ETV reporter Sarah Gillingham sat down with Dr. John Zeckler of the Middle and Secondary Education and Educational Leadership Department and Drs. Linda Best and Kathleen Daly of the Early Childhood and Reading Department to discuss the Quality Matters process of being nationally ranked and the achievement of receiving their certifications through this particular organization. Now let's take a look at the interview.
In 2012, the university launched a new initiative looking at quality assurance models through continuous improvement. And our focus is to increase student achievement. The Quality Matters rubric and organization was designed to help assess whether what we are doing actually met high quality standards. So the focus group in 2012 met. We talked about how this could be implemented at Edinboro, what might be some of the challenges, ways that it would be embraced. After our focus group in 2012, Provost Hannon actually created an online task force. Dr. Daly, Ziegler, and I served on that online task force. And it was at that time that we looked very closely at developing an online assessment process. Quality Matters is a continuous improvement model. It's peer review based. It's international now. It's in several countries. And it provides a gold standard. Standards dictate a great deal of what we do. We have standards in newscasting. We heard about gold standard and benchmarks of quality. Well, with online course development, the Quality Matters actually provides 8 standards that we look at. We look at them very carefully. So when we are thinking about creating an online course from the nuts and bolts aspect, we use the Quality Matters process as one that fit our model of continuous improvement here at Edinboro.
For the full interview, visit edinboronow.edu.
The Film Society of Northwest Pennsylvania began their spring 2016 season of Film at the Erie Art Museum last Wednesday with a showing of the 2015 film Room. Film at the Erie Art Museum shows films every Wednesday at the Erie Art Museum located on State Street. Their opening film for this season, Room, stars Brie Larson as a woman held captive for 7 years along with her 5-year-old son. The film received 4 Oscar nominations, and Brie Larson won several Best Actress awards for her performance, including a Golden Globe and SAG Award. Film at the Art Museum's next film will be Children of the Men, next Wednesday at 7:00 p.m. For more information and a full schedule, visit their website at filmsocietynwpa.org.
Tuesday night, Edinboro University will hold their annual Make-A-Wish night during the men's basketball game versus Wheeling Jesuit University. Make-A-Wish consists of thousands of volunteers, donors, and supporters who advance the Make-A-Wish vision to grant the wish of every child diagnosed with a life-threatening medical condition. Tune into Edinboro Television on Tuesday night to view the game and the Make-A-Wish ceremony at halftime. In the past, Edinboro University has been among the Division II leaders with raising profit. In fact, Edinboro has raised more money than any other school in Division II for Make-A-Wish.
Stay tuned, because coming up we have our weekly weather followed by your Fighting Scots sports report. Keep watching.
To compete for a championship in stadiums full with cheering fans and families. To give back. To say thank you for your support. To learn, grow, and prepare for the future. Ask any NCAA student athlete what they want, and this is what they'll tell you. Ask these student athletes, and they'll say with pride, I chose Division II.
Before NAMI, I did not have many support systems. I felt very alone. Through NAMI, I earned a support system, I earned advocacy, I earned an organization that I could refer others to and advocate for mental illness with. And through NAMI, I feel that I can help stamp out stigma.
NAMI of Erie County. Find help. Find hope.
Hi, I'm Sierra Holman, Chief Weather Forecaster, and this is your Fighting Scots Weather Report. Here we're going to pull up the 7-day forecast. On Monday, we have cloudy skies with a high of 30 and a low of 26. Tuesday, we have a high of 32 with a low of 21 and some snow. Wednesday, hump day, we have a high of 30 with a low of 9 and some snow yet again. Thursday, we have a high of 27 and a low of 16 with some partly cloudy skies. Friday, we have some rain with a high of 45 and a low of 36. Saturday, we have some more rain with a high of 41 and a low of 28. And last but not least, Sunday, again, partly cloudy skies with a high of 45 and a low of 28. And now for our Did You Know fact of the week. Did you know that the fastest speed a falling raindrop can hit you is 18 miles per hour? Well, now you know. And that's your Fighting Scots Weather Report. Up next is sports.
My parents always said that a bridge is only useful if it can be crossed.
At Edinboro, I found a university that connects who I am to who I want to be.
A school that's affordable, with excellent professors and nationally recognized undergraduate and graduate programs who give personal attention to my success. Edinboro's also a place with great traditions and big-time school spirit.
Edinboro University. It's the bridge to your destination. Choose excellence. Choose Edinboro. Apply online at edinboro.edu.
My experience at Perico has been so great. I feel like it's really my time for school now. I tried going back to school when I first graduated from high school. I just wasn't ready.
It's closer to home. It's very much more affordable than the other colleges in the city. When I finished my degree here at Perico, it would provide me with higher pay. I can actually grow more in my company than I would if I wasn't going to school.
Perico College, affordable, career-ready education.
Hello and welcome to the Fighting Scots Sports Report. I'm Drew Patrick. To start off today, let's travel back to Wednesday when the basketball teams traveled to Johnstown, Pennsylvania to take on UPJ. Let's start with the women's contest. The Lady Cats got off to a quick start, taking a 20-5 advantage in this one, but the Fighting Scots rallied back with Michelle Yan posting a career-high 28 points and Katie Fisher taking control with 13 all in the second half. The ladies come back to win 79-75. Now let's move on to the men's game. The men were looking to snap a 3-game losing streak and hold steady at third in the PSAC. This game started out very similar to the girls' game as UPJ jumped to an 18-2 lead. This was before Jamin Mason went off, finishing with a double-double with 34 points, 12 boards, while Henri Wade Chapman had 12, all in the second half. These contests weren't the only test this week as the teams were home after a 3-game road stretch to face Clarion. Starting on the women's side, it was Hoops for Harley Day honoring former student Harley Ray Bolt, who tragically passed away after she was diagnosed with leukemia. The women got off to a quick start and never looked back in this one. The Fighting Scots took a 9-point lead at the half. Then they came out in the second half, firing on all cylinders and took the game 80-49. Anya Freeland led Edinboro with 18 points and 8 boards. Lauren Hippo added 17 points on a night where she almost was perfect shooting, and Katie Fisher finished with a double-double with 12 points, 10 assists. With the win, the ladies clinch a home playoff game. The men were looking to clinch a playoff spot against Clarion as well. This game was back and forth and as evenly matched as it could possibly be. This game was tied at the half 40-40 and then tied it once again at the end of regulation 84-all. Edinburgh struck first in the overtime period, and it took an out-of-bounds call on Clarion to ultimately seal the deal for Edinburgh, as they were the ones to come out with the win, winning in overtime for the second time in a row, 97-94. Tommy Scales had a double-double with 21 points and 12 boards, and Henri Wade Chapman led the team in scoring with 27. The Fighting Scots women moved to 18-8, 13-7 in the PSAC, and the men moved to 14-9 and 13-7 in the PSAC. The men's next contest is Tuesday with a non-conference Wheeling Jesuit coming to town, and that's also Make-A-Wish night, so make sure you come out and support this great event. The women will return alongside the men on Saturday to take on Seton Hill. The wheelchair basketball team was in action over the weekend as well, participating in the Illinois tournament. On day one, the Scots went 1-2 with losses to Alabama by a score of 51-34 and Illinois by a score of 49-30 before beating Wisconsin Whitewater 60-19. The Scots then moved on to the next day. On day two, Edinburgh dropped both matches. The first one was a rematch loss to the University of Illinois, this one by a score of 56-48, and then they dropped their final match to Missouri 45-33. The wheelchair basketball team is planning on playing host to the national championships starting on March 10th. The wrestling team traveled to Kent State on Valentine's Day to take on both Central Michigan and Kent State. Edinburgh dropped their first match against the number 20th ranked Central Michigan. Vic Avery, Casey Fuller, Billy Miller, and Vince Pickett picked up victories, but after a double forfeit at 125, Edinburgh just couldn't come out on top, falling in this one 20-15. Edinburgh dropped the next match as well, this time losing to 17th ranked Kent State by a squeaker 18-15. Vic Avery, Pat Jennings, Sean Russell, Austin Matthews, and Anthony Rivera all picked up victories, and the match was 15-all, going to be decided by the 141 matchup between Anthony Tutolo and Tyler Vath. Both wrestlers were tied at 5 at the end of the third period, but Tutolo got the point on riding time, and with the loss, the Scots dropped to 8-9 on the year. The wrestling team's next match is Saturday night against West Virginia. That can be heard on 88.9 WFSE. The track team went to the GVSU Big Meet this week. The distance medley relay team finished 10th, but more importantly, the foursome of Rebecca Bond, Torona Ware, Abby Lang, and Eden Narbaval finished with an NCAA provisional qualifying time of 12 minutes, 6 seconds, 19. You can view the full results on GoFightingScots.com. The Zorofsky Dome will play host to the Edinburgh Invitational this Friday the 19th. The tennis team started off their spring season against Fairmont State. The tennis team made quick work of Fairmont State, winning every match for the 9-0 advantage. Vitor Albanese led the way in this one. He took the first match with a 6-3, 6-2 victory. He also won his doubles match. The tennis team will be back in action on Saturday as they face Walsh University in Erie. That's all we have for you sports this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and if you want to be up to date on all things sports, go to edinburghnow.com. Thank you so much for watching.
My parents always said that a bridge is only useful if it can be crossed.
At Edinboro, I found a university that connects who I am to who I want to be.
A school that's affordable with excellent professors and nationally recognized undergraduate and graduate programs who give personal attention to my success. Edinboro is also a place with great traditions and big-time school spirit.
Edinboro University. It's the bridge to your destination. Choose excellence. Choose Edinboro.
That's all the news that we have for you this week.
Be sure to check out our Facebook page for upcoming events and to check out all of Campus Media's news on edinboronow.com. Have a great night.